pass by so slowly. The days fell on the knees. Maybe I'll take something to help me. Won't someone take after me? There's always some change in the weather. This time I know we could get it together. If you would stay here tonight, that would be crazy tonight. Stay. That's what I meant to say, or do something. But what I never say is stay this time. I really meant to so bad. This time. 'Cause you can never really tell when somebody wants something you want to. Life can be vague when it's sent someone new. This time tomorrow I'll know what to do. I know it's happened to you. Stay. That's what I meant to say, or do something. But what I never say is stay this time. I really meant to so bad this time. 'Cause you can never really tell when somebody wants so much to stay. That's what I meant to say, or do something. But what I never say is stay this time. I really meant to so bad this time. 'Cause you can never really tell when somebody wants something you want to.
Feel like when you finish a number like that and you hear those screams? That's got to be something else.
Oh, it's my drummer.
Oh, he did it?
Yeah.
Oh, and he's gone. What a shame.
Yes.
No, I mean, you didn't have anything to do with it? The boy singer had nothing to do?
Yes, of course I did.
No, how do you feel after a moment like that? You give so much of yourself.
But no, not really. Every time I think that I should do it again.
Do you?
Yes.
I think we all do.
I never, hello?
Hello?
Excuse me.
There are so many David Bowies. in the opening of the show, I showed some photographs.
Yeah.
Rather bizarre photographs, some of them, and I don't know how much of them were doctored up with electronic lighting and that.
Yeah.
Have you got those photographs?
Can I see them again?
Yeah. I want you to see them, and I want you to tell me about each one of those David Bowies. Now,
So that was a...
They love that.
Yeah. That was a character from a sort of a non-rock concept thing called Diamond Dogs. He was called Halloween Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you? And that one. Okay.
That was, well, I don't know. I've been living in New York for some time, so I was wearing a lot of Puerto Rican clothing.
Yeah. But David, you're inspired. I mean, there is no set costume. There is no set feeling for the concert that you'll give as David Bowie. Whatever it is that you're influenced by at the moment, wherever you happen to be ethnically, that...
It tends to be like that, yes. I'm easily saturated. I get... I'm very sort of faddy, very flirty.
Yeah.
I'm quite a rock fan. I get influenced by other bands, other artists, and I tend to sort of steal things from them.
You're being very modest.
No,
not
at all.
Steal things for you?
I think that's one of the most important elements of rock and roll.
Interestingly enough, some of the moves today and the costume that you have on today, which isn't really a costume, I think of as being the sort of thing that was from the 30s, really.
Well,
is that the feeling of it?
Yes, very much.
The music was.
But there's a sort of a European wave happening, and a lot of the sort of the stylization is. I've got a favourite songwriter and band in England called Roxy Music. There's a character called Brian Ferry, who I think is probably spearheading some of the best music that's come out of England in years.
We're taking a lot of time talking. I was dying. There's so many things I want to know about you, and I've got... Ooh, I like that. I've got Henry and Nancy over there, and they've got a bunch of questions they want to talk to you about too. Everybody wants to find out a lot more about David Bowie, so we'll be back right after this with some... Nancy?
Yeah, baby.
No, I just want your honest reaction to the opening song David did.
Well, I have never seen David perform in person before, and I love watching him.
Yeah, he's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, I love
him. Oh, I thought you were going to say no. Go ahead.
Oh, them or me?
Yeah, no, them.
Oh, them. But I have a thing. I was brought up on Porter and Gershwin, and Rodgers and Hart, you know.
Hoagie Carmichael.
And I'm afraid I'm stuck with them. But now we're back in fashion, all of us.
Yeah,
I mean, me whistling them, and they're being played, and people like Manhattan Transfer do songs from the 40s. I understand what's happening.
I was just saying to David that the costume, now this is the outfit that they wear when they do the 30s outfit, the Manhattan Transfer, they wear the wide trousers and that sort of thing. And Fonzie, of course, is the idol of the 50s. He is what is known...
Absolutely.
He's the David Bowie of Happy Days.
I'm a great fan of Fonzie, and I have a lot of admiration for Henry as an actor as well.
Yeah,
well, that's lovely. Thank you. I'm very flattered because I certainly can return the compliment. You know, in everything that we do, in whether you're a singer or an actor or a dancer, that we talked about this backstage for a second. I just had a chance to meet David. Concentration is of the essence. In the structure comes the freedom. And whatever people see David as, what the mind that goes on behind all of that, he is aware of every note that is played by every musician in his band. He is aware of every movement that his dancers make. He is in control of his aesthetic weight.
You know, that's
incredible.
So interesting thing about Henry here now. He started with a lovely, mild little television show that everybody was amused at and thought was charming. And it's one of the most successful shows on the air now. And everywhere you go, we had one of the girls, both Laverne and Shirley on. And they said that they had gone to Milwaukee and followed you in there. and that the people, it's like with you, they scream, and thousands of people come to the airport, thousands of people crowd the hotel because they want to know, and you weren't even there, but they wanted to know what's the Fonz really like. And I could tell them, and I'm not going.
Cool.
Yeah, he's really just this is a nice, really sweet, gentle fella, and we've worked together a large number of times.
And it's my pleasure.
No, but I wonder, you have more and more fans now, more and more adulation. How do you handle it?
How do you handle it? That's a really good question. I spend a lot of time thinking. I have a theory that an actor can never be more than he is as a human being. His characters can be different, but his soul cannot. So if I don't get it together, you know, then, and I start to get to think that I am more than I am, if I forget that I am Harry and Ilsa Winkler's son, and I chose to do this, it's my profession, that cockiness will not only kill me as Henry, it will kill me as an artist. So the way people approach me is the way that I will relate to them back. If they come, I mean, they're telling me, I like what you do with your life. That's phenomenal.
Do you find that fans want to know about you or Fonzie?
Well, I started a national campaign as soon as I went on television that Henry Winkler was the reality and Fonzie is my fantasy. And now all the people know that, or a lot of the people know that my name is Henry, and they want to find out about Henry, too.
I want to ask you, Nancy. Now, Nancy is one of the few people, she bicycles from one television show and starring on Macmillan and Wife, and then she stars on Rhoda, and she's in demand for about 15 other projects that are steady projects. I don't mean the kind of thing that'll be a one-time shot. Everybody, there is a Nancy Walker part, and that's been harder to handle than the days when Nancy Walker said, well, if I can get this part, I'll be so happy. I mean, just glad to be alive.
Right. I look back on those days, though, with a little more energy than I have these days.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
But it's been a fantastic 2 years. It really has, and it was murderously tiring, but I was very grateful for them. And this fall, we start our own show. Not we, I start my own show.
Yeah. I think that really is such they have lovely things they do over there at that place. When someone emerges from that show, and rightfully so, they build a program around them, and they surround them with the best writers and the best producers. It'll be great.
Well, fingers crossed.
David, you know, you're a puzzle to a lot of people, and we touched on it a little bit over there, because there are a lot of David Bowie.
Yeah.
There's really only one. You know,
here tonight, yes.
Very, well, there are a lot of shadows. No, but by that I mean, for instance, you said you took that from that period and this from that period, and this, you were influenced by this because you had been in New York and the Puerto Rican costume had fascinated you. Yeah. But do you feel that this keeps you with the times or way ahead of the times?
Well, I started as a painter.
As an artist?
Yes. But I found I was a natural ham. I just hammed everything.
You just wanted to be out in front.
For me, rock and roll was a superb way of releasing those kind of, you know, excitements, and one could adopt any character at all. And I found that rock and roll is probably one of the newest Western medias, and it interested me, and I wanted to play around with it.
And you had never sung before that time? You'd never fronted a band?
No, I still act the songs rather than sing them. I interpret songs, and I thought, well, if the French chanson thing they can get away with sort of talking the songs, then I can get away with talking with it.
All it needs is intention.
You said there were some things you wanted to change about yourself.
What
were they?
It's the policy of being a self-invented man, is that you sort of strip yourself down and decide what you don't like about yourself and what you won't admit about yourself, and eventually come face to face with it. And then you have to decide whether you're going to try and change it or not. And
what didn't you like about
the one thing I didn't like was being terribly shy, an incredibly shy person. And so I overcompensated. I thought if I gave myself an alarming kind of reputation, then I would have to learn to defend myself and therefore come out of myself, sort of.
That's very interesting.
Well, it was sort of, yes, it seemed
because you'd think
quite
people would
logical.
sneak into being, making people aware of them, but you said, if I'm aggressive, they're going to get mad at me and I'm going to have to defend them.
Absolutely.
That's really
All
interesting.
change comes from fire.
Yeah.
Two chemicals come together when there's fire under them.
That's right. Be right back.
You know, I'd like to interrupt for a second, okay? Is that possible?
Anything your heart desires.
See, I get a lot of mail, and everybody asked me if there was a Fonzie T-shirt. See?
Yeah.
So I finally got the idea that if a lot of people want them, so I went to my godson's father, Donnie. My godson's father,
It's a
Donnie.
godson's
He's
father.
an artist.
Very complicated.
And I asked him to design a T-shirt, a Fonzie T-shirt. This is so great. Sparing no expense on the wrapping.
Yeah.
I have here an old envelope. However, I would like, on the air here, for the first time in history, I would like to give you the very first
Unveiling?
Fonzie T-shirt ever recorded in the history. Now, I have to tell you that he designed the T-shirt. Donnie designed the T-shirt, and I made one correction, that the color on the back of the T-shirt will only be the color of 1,200 shirts. So only 1,200 people in this country will have one
The
color.
red, you mean.
Where do
The
they
red.
get it?
If they write to me at ABC.
Okay. Right. And Kara, Happy Days.
Happy Days, yeah.
ABC. Okay.
But
And then what happens after the 1,200?
After the 1,200, the Fonz will become a different color.
That's right.
I love that idea. I would like to have a T-shirt that only 1,200 people own.
I've got the first one, though.
You do. That's the first one. Yes.
Like a T-shirt that
You-
600 million people had, wouldn't you? Really?
You would like a T-shirt that 600 million people have.
Well, the only place, let's see, you have to go to China.
David, I don't think so.
We can get you.
I don't think so. There are certain things that I would want that 600 million people would have.
Yes.
Like what?
One of them, 600 million people should have peace of mind.
Ah.
But in a T-shirt.
We have some quotations
We do.
from
We do.
David Bowie. And I thought perhaps every once in a while we do give interviews, all of us.
I'll go and get the next song ready, shall I?
No. But we do give interviews, and occasionally some of them we're putting the world on, and sometimes we're serious about it.
Yes.
But now I have met your lovely wife, Angela. I was going to tell you. And they have a son called Zowie Bowie. Zowie Bowie. So, and I know that right now, Angela was going to be here today, but she's cooking dinner at home for you and Alice Cooper and Ray Bradbury. So, I mean, Angela is the typical...
It's a sport.
That's right. She's a good sport.
Well, those
But
are
it
great
says-
guests. Those are very inventive guests. to
Yeah,
have.
wouldn't that be a fun party? I'd like to be
Alice
invited to
Cooper and Ray Bradbury.
Yeah.
Can I come?
that. Alice. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Can you cook?
I can't cook, no.
Can't-
But
can
I'm
you
terrific.
serve?
No, I can bring a cake.
All right.
I'm very good at bringing cake.
Do you do windows on Thursday?
I do windows on Thursdays.
Listen, the line that David has about marriage and about having married Angela is that I don't think we fell in love. I've never been in love, thank God. What do you mean by that?
I have a vast capacity to love, but the one time that I found that I was falling in love, it became obsessive to a point where the object of that affection was becoming overblown. It was no longer a real thing. It was becoming my search for some kind of mythological feeling that man is supposed to have, and probably the feeling that man eventually develops for an awareness of God.
You were endowing
Yes.
the person you loved
the
at those
person,
parties?
this is the old thing about the person goes up on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Terrible onus for that person, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it's even harder on the other
But
person.
do you feel that you're having loved someone that heavily is a burden?
In love, I think they're very
being
strong.
in love.
They're very different. I think they're very different indeed.
Loving and
somebody truly and wholeheartedly and being in love are two very different conditions. I don't think being in love has anything to do with loving somebody.
I see. Oh, I
you read
thought
The
the two were
Prophet?
rather synonymous.
No, I don't think they are at all.
You mean you can love large numbers of people, but you can be in love in an obsessive way that
Obsessive,
can drive
yes.
you out of your mind?
Yes, and it may have
And it
nothing
almost
to
has
do
nothing
with
to do with that person, yeah.
to care for the other person. It's to satisfy something that needs to be fulfilled in oneself.
But you don't you think you miss a lot by not feeling those passions, those angers?
Yes, one feels the passions of loving somebody,
I see.
where you want to care for them and have them share but share their life.
I see.
And help them achieve what they want to achieve.
Right.
But when you're in
Meaning
love,
their
you want
potential.
them to be perpetually with you.
I see. That's interesting.
It is the pure form of love, allowing the other person to nurture themselves into their potential.
Well, then that's better than being in love. What he's saying is that in love is grabbing and holding, and loving is like expanding.
Absolutely. The concept is is greatly overused in the United States. We have greeting cards where the couple is standing by the river and the sun is coming through the trees. And what people forget is that the light is that way for only 10 minutes a day. And it is perpetrated on us to be that way all the time, which is not the truth.
Impossible.
But it's not the truth.
That's right. That loving is many wonderful moments, and if you pick out the ones where
Yes.
the sunlight isn't shining, they
Absolutely.
might outnumber the ones that are glorious.
Companionship has to give full rein to all the other emotions that are part of the human makeup.
Right.
They have to be the real.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you have a quotation?
I have a quote which is very interesting. Now that I heard what you said before, we know you are an innovator. That is not a written line. That is the truth. People have taken your original style and tried to make it their own. You did, however, say at one time, Dave.
David,
that if you were an original thinker,
Yeah.
you would not be in rock and roll.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not an
Now,
original.
rock and roll has been very good to you.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And you have originally
I've been very
made.
good to rock and roll.
Absolutely. You have. That is absolutely true. You have made an original rock and roll style.
Yes.
You know? And I was wondering what you meant.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah. There's a writer in England called Colin Wilson, who very early on, among the new English writers in the 50s, became known as a translator of the philosophers and the great thinkers of the 20th century, and was able to write them in such a way that everybody else could understand those great minds. And he had a facility for understanding and then passing the information. He was a translator. He became a medium himself. He was a medium. And I like to flatter myself. I think that's what I've been trying to do, is that I was always totally bedazzled by all the art forms of the 20th century. And my interpretation comes out my way of those art forms, from Expressionism to Dadaism, and I try and break it down into some kind of simplistic that can be passed on. Even if the definition isn't understood, the feeling that I felt is passed on.
I don't want the house or your money. I want to be with you.
I can't explain it to you completely. But if I stay here, I shall die.
What do you mean? Take me with you. I'll see you don't die.
I can't say.
You're an alien! You know what would happen if they found out your visa had expired? You don't know. How could you? You're simple. You don't understand how we live here. Oh, come on, Tommy. Don't go now. Give us another chance. You won't find anyone else like me, you know. You won't find anyone who'd do for you like I've done for you. It's your wife, isn't it? I bet she's no bloody good. Ooh. I don't care what you are or who you are. No, I can't let you go, not now. Oh.
You have been learning karate.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
That's right. Now, I wanted to see you in action because I think it's fascinating, and I wondered why you went into karate.
Well, a number of my friends in rock, before going on tour, had taken up karate as a form of exercise, and I thought that I might as well join in with what everybody else is doing and learn some. I had been studying mime when I was younger, so the two kinds of movement are very similar.
Really?
Yeah. Karate is a fast form of mime, where a mime would walk like that. A karate man might use the same movement. Very similar movement.
We have your teacher here, and he is going to come out here in a minute. He's a former U.S. Grand Champion.
Whoa.
Oh, we don't do the bump.
Oh, anything.
This gentleman was a U.S. Grand Champion of karate, and he is a very good friend of David's instructor, and perhaps he can be helpful to all of us. I'd like to meet him, Mr. Dwayne Vaughn.
What an entrance, Dwayne. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is David a good student?
Oh, yes, he is. One of my best.
Give us a little sample of your style with him.
Oh, okay.
I've never done anything before.
Okay.
Never in your whole life, and we'll move 14 feet. I saw me.
No, not that.
I'm walking along a street, and a man who's about 7 or 8 foot tall is approaching me, and I don't think he's going to ask me for an autograph. What do I do when he...
Okay, the first thing you know that he's coming at you already picked that up, okay, the insight. So
I know that.
From here, man, the first thing, the advantage that you have on your side is that he's coming at you.
Yes.
That's the first thing. Yeah. So you're using all of whatever he's coming with against him. So if I were coming at you and I would choke you like so...
I'd scream very loud.
Yeah, you can so choke. Choke.
I'm choked.
Right from here. So the first thing you want to do is distract his mind from what he's doing here. You wouldn't fight him or try to break nothing or try to pull him loose or even try to block.
Yes.
All you have to do is from it distract his mind, hit him here in his groin, and that way... You know, kick him on his shit. Anything to distract his mind to release this.
Yes.
Anything to release this. So once you make your block, so once you know you haven't made the block. So once you hit him here, his mind is going to hit here, then you will make your block. And then from here, you can come from here, hit the thumbs into the eyes, the knee into the groin, and then down to the head, and elbow break. Hey, fabulous. Like so.
I'll just have copy to follow.
No, I don't want it. No,
What is that?
you don't understand. That is, nobody's in
No, it's very, a lot of people think that karate is so hard and so dangerous, or if I take a lesson, I'm going to break a leg. If I take a lesson, I'm going to hurt something. It's not about that, because if the teacher hurts you, how can he teach you?
Yeah, but you have to learn how to move so fast. How do you do that?
Well, the speed is, well, a lot of people think that, well, especially in the martial arts, that it all comes from the hip and the power comes from the hip, but it's all from the mind. But the key to behind it is that relaxation gives you motion, and motion gives you speed.
Relaxation?
If I was going to do a punch, and I was going to tense up to make this punch, I wouldn't want to tense all of this up to punch. Just right here, just stand right. From here to tense up to move, to make a punch, I use all of my excess wasted force, which was no force at all, to get from one point to another and to execute a technique.
Yeah.
But if I relaxation, I have all the freedom now of movement. So from here, I can move.
Yes, that man is dead.
I can move, and then the focusing point is on the point of contact.
Of course. All right, show us what classic karate looks like.
Okay, beautiful. I like to perform a kata called Kankaku.
All right.
Bull.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's a lovely young lady now, and every so often it happens, a newcomer takes the music business by storm. And this is a young lady who has, but she's been exposed recently to a whirlwind of activity. Her first single was a smash hit. She received 2 Grammy nominations. She was voted the NAACP Image Award as the best female vocalist. She just completed her first concert tour, and it was only 7 months ago that she recorded her first album. And I want you to hear her because, well, you have heard her, obviously. You bought many of her albums. But here she is to sing the title song from the album Inseparable. Please welcome Natalie Cole.
That's 757-3500.
Well, I'm just so proud of you and so thrilled for you. And everybody's talking about Natalie Cole, and they're not referring to this long musical history behind her. They're just talking about Natalie Cole, the supreme singer today. And we have a little surprise for you. David, can you reach that?
Oh, this is really as much pleasure as anything that I've ever given to anybody before. This is for $1 million worth of an album, Inseparable.
Oh.
My presentation.
Success is beautiful, but it keeps you busy. And poor little Natalie's been traveling all over the country.
I know,
and she didn't know this was due, and those lovely people at Capitol gave us a chance to present it to you today. I'm really glad.
Do you see this?
Show it to me.
I'm going to take it to bed with me.
What do you think your dad, Nat, would have said about something like that? He had quite a few, but
knowing him, he'd probably be very cool.
Oh,
so very proud.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know, he didn't think I was going to sing. Sparky Tavares, who is with Nancy Wilson now, had told me that my father always said that, I really don't think Sweetie's interested in music. You know, Sweetie's my nickname.
that nickname, you know. And I'm telling you, it's a surprise to everyone.
Yeah. Isn't that nice?
Oh,
what a good surprise.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Great feeling. I'm so happy.
And she's standing in line there with all of us, with David. She says, I think she's got a crush on David.
Oh, yeah.
That's all right.
Yes,
Just stand
and it
and
just so
look.
happened that at the airport this morning, I picked up the Rolling Stone. And I was, as tired as I was engrossed in the article, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'm really glad that you brought up the love concept, mm-hmm. because it really intrigued me, you know. Yeah. It was interesting because I'm glad you made the separation of loving someone and being in love. There really is a difference. I agree with you.
Well, yeah. I want you to meet a lovely young lady who has quite a lot to say. Fascinating. She hasn't done too many talk shows either, David. And she's your co-star in The Man Who Fell to Earth. Until just a few years ago, she never thought about becoming an actress, I suppose, in her wildest dreams. Yet it
happens at such an extraordinary time.
Yes.
It really does.
And, of course, that's the best way. But the interesting thing that happened was that in her second motion picture, she was nominated for an Academy Award. And I don't think that means that she won't be... No, that isn't bad. But I think she will be nominated and probably win many in the course of her career. Please welcome Miss Candy Clark. Henry, Natalie, listen, I told him that this was your first real talk show that you've been on,
yes.
And that you practiced, I heard. Is that true?
I did.
How does anybody practice to go on a talk show? You sit...
Well, you have to practice how to sit first.
Oh, do you? Oh, I know, it's a problem.
That's I guess David did a lot of that.
I wasn't going on alone.
No, that's right. We surrounded you, though. Would you explain a little bit about the movie you two made together, either one of you, The Man Who Fell to Earth?
Right. Great title. It needs an explanation.
I'm not trying.
Candy, would you try?
This is a scene that takes place in about the middle of the movie, and we've lived together for an unstated period, maybe 4 or 5 years. We've been very close, and he's become very wealthy and prominent and revolutionizing
just about everything.
Everything, oil, photography, everything. He's become super rich. And in this scene, he's telling me that he's going to leave me.
You can stay on here. House is yours. I've transferred enough to your bank account.
I don't want the house or your money. I want to be with you.
I can't explain it to you completely. But if I stay here, I shall die.
What do you mean? Take me with you. I'll see you don't die.
I can't say.
You're an alien! You know what would happen if they found out your visa had expired? You don't know. How could you? You're simple. You don't understand how we live here. Oh, come on, Tommy. Don't go now. Give us another chance. You won't find anyone else like me, you know. You won't find anyone who'd do for you like I've done for you. It's your wife, isn't it? I bet she's no bloody good. Ooh. I don't care what you are or who you are. I can't let you go, not now. Oh.
song that you requested, that you mentioned that you wanted to sing.
Oh, 5 years.
5 years. And David told me, interestingly enough, just as he walked over to the bandstand, that this is a song that was the direct result of a dream he had, such as the ones we were describing a moment ago. David Bowie.
Pushing through the market square, so many mothers crying. News had just come over. We had 5 years left of sighing. News guy wept when he told us Earth was really dying. Cried so much that his face was wet, but I knew he was not lying. Heard telephones, opera house, favorite melodies. Saw toys and boys, electric irons and TVs. My brain felt like a warehouse, it had no room to spare. Had to cram so many things to store, everything in there. All the fat, skinny people, all the tall, short people, all the nobody people, all the somebody people. Never thought I'd need so many people. Girl my age went off ahead, hit some tiny children. If the black hadn't pulled her off, I think she would have killed them. Soldier with a broken arm fixed his stare to the wheels of a Cadillac. Cop knelt and kissed the feet of a priest. Look there, I threw up at the sight of that. I think I saw you in an ice cream parlor, drinking milkshakes cold and long, smiling and waving, looking so fine. Don't think you knew you were in my song. It's cold and it rained, and I felt like an actor, and I thought of more, and I wanted to get back there. A face you erase, the way that you talk. I kiss you, you're beautiful, I want you to walk. 5 years stuck on my eyes. 5 years, what a surprise. 5
Rhoda. Well, it has been a wonderful day, and I have my Fonzie T-shirt, Henry, happy days. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, a pleasure.
I think you have a whole big future there as a, audience consultant on questions and that sort of thing. Every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock on ABC, you can see Happy Days, and I'll wear my T-shirt in front of the television. Thank you. Nancy Walker is as Mildred and Melon wife, Rhoda's mother, and soon on Just Plain Nancy, her own series. That's exciting.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Natalie Cole, Houston, and is going to do a concert in Houston this weekend, and she has her solid gold album. Isn't it? By the time this plays, you'll be in Houston. Inseparable. And Candy has a lovely movie with David Bowie called Man Who Fell to Earth. David Bowie has an album called Station to Station. Wade's going to teach us all how to do those marvelous moves the next time we come back. Right? Right. Thank you.
Don't miss Dinah on Monday when she welcomes Carl Reiner, Rob Reiner, Freddie Fender, and Lloyd Bridges. That's Monday at 6:30. A new time for Dinah. Now, stay tuned for Sarah next.